Body and Mind's Power Up.
You know, it's funny. I was actually watching something the other day, and a dude was like, he says, "You know, you know what people waste their time on?" And he's like, "On intros. You have no idea who I am, so why do you care who I am?" I was like, "Oh,
Just get to it.
it makes sense." I'm like, let's just jump straight into it. All right, so it's funny because the other day I was talking to somebody, and it came to my realization that right now our generation was probably like the first actual generation or the last generation to experience boredom, like true to life boredom. You ever thought about that?
Yeah, like, 'cause we grew up in the analog era.
Yeah. So there was nothing to do. There really was nothing to do. It's like you go
Yeah,
out there, it's
you
like,
you had to go do something.
right.
You had to leave the house, go ride your bike, go knock on your friend's door. Um, you had to leave. You had to walk down the street. You had to go.
Yep. Right. And it's like those are the days where being grounded actually mattered. Right. You think
Yeah,
about that, right?
I don't think I was ever grounded. I think
Are you what?
grounded is I I don't think I was ever grounded. I don't remember it at least. But I think grounded to me, it's kinda like a westernized North American thing.
Yeah.
I got beat.
Of course. That's the Caribbean part.
Yeah.
You know, we done with that.
Culturally, I got
Yeah.
beat. Like,
Of
I
course.
if I did something wild at school, I did e actually, I was one of the last few, students that actually got the ruler. Like, if you
Really?
misbehaved in class, you had to like, I think I was in, like, 1st grade or maybe, like, kindergarten, and if you misbehave, you had to put your hand like that, and the
I remember
teacher,
that.
would hit you with the ruler. And
Paddles.
then, yes, like what they use a ruler. I didn't have no big paddle like Pioneer
Yeah.
shit, but it was like a 12-inch ruler. They would hit your hand, and also, I would have to sit in the corner with a dunce cap. I remember that in kindergarten.
Yeeks. I
Yeah,
never
I
we never had the dunce cap. I do remember getting the ruler on the hand though, right?
yes.
And you think about it now, I can imagine how many teachers were taking out their frustration on them kids.
They they probably all were, and
You
it's
know what
so
I'm
funny.
saying?
There's probably like a younger generation watching this video now saying, "Man, these guys is old." I'm like, "Nah, this is like I think it was 84, 85. It was
Yeah.
the last year it was outlawed in Canada, in Ontario, in
Yeah,
that
same thing here.
specific province. In that specific province, it's like 80, 45 was outlawed, something like that. And then they're like, "Oh, it was violent." But I remember growing up, and if I caused trouble, the teacher could hit me. I remember if something went down at school, you're fighting at recess, fist fight.
Right.
I remember when, if you went home, if you're causing trouble on the street, late night type, your neighbors could beat you.
Yeah.
Then they would tell your parents, and then you get beat again.
Yeah, because you look, you literally embarrassed your parents in public. That's all they thought about,
Yeah,
right?
it's crazy.
You thought, see, you embarrassed your like they kept on that mentality of it takes a village to raise a child,
Yes,
right?
and I
And now,
appreciate that.
oh man, you think about it now, like you actually had like consequences for things you do,
Mhm.
right? Now
Now, there's
you
no
don't see it,
consequence.
right?
There's no consequence at all, and that's why you have there's 2 sides to every story. I do understand the other perspective. Oh, it's violence, it's abuse, but at the same time, it's like I could grow up now as an adult, and I appreciate those beats.
Of course, right? It's funny we say that because I was talking to, I was getting my hair done the other day, right? And I'm talking to somebody there, and the guy's like, I walk out to go get some stuff for my clients,
Mhm.
right? We having a birthday party, you know, we wilding out, everybody's wild. Black folks, we wild out. We do silly things.
You have a good time.
You have a good time. So he said he bought the friend some roses, some flowers, right? He took one of the flowers, put it in his hair. You don't think about it. You wild out. Yay!
Yeah.
He said he left, right? And sure enough, right, he's trying to go get some stuff for the clients, and he walks past the kid, and the kid looks at him, and he keeps on going, right? He sees Walmart over there. He's like, "Yo, I'm gonna go to Walmart, see if they have it over there." So he starts walking in there. Little kid looks back to him, "Why are you following me?"
Yeah. Yeah.
Right?
He's just going to the store.
I'm going to the store, right? But
But
then I
the kid
realized
is
something.
paranoid. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah. You start looking at it, and then I thought about it the other day. You ever heard of Plato's Allegory of the Cave?
No, break it down.
All right, so with the allegory of the cave is that if you grew up a certain kind of way, like their breakdown was, um, if you're in a cave, right, and you're chained to the wall, and this is the life that you know, what you're
Mhm.
going to do is you're going to associate voices. So you start to pick up the voices, you understand what the voices are, so on and so forth like that. Right? If
Mhm.
somebody lights a fire in the cave and you start seeing the shadows, you're going to associate the voices with the shadows. Right? Fast
Mhm.
forward, if somebody breaks out of the cave, as you're getting out of the cave, the moonlight will hurt your eyes because you're not used to that type of light.
You never seen
Right?
it before.
You never seen it before. The sunlight will damn near kill you. You feel it burning your skin, you feel it burning your eyes. But after you start to understand it, right, you start to realize now this is a whole new world. Like, oh my
Mhm.
gosh, I was in this cave and here I am now. I can see the ocean, I can see the mountains. Like, this is beautiful,
Yeah.
right? If you try to go back into that cave and tell them how much better the world is out there than inside here,
They wouldn't believe you.
they're going to kill you because now
Wow.
you are taking the meaning away from what they've deemed to be real,
Wow.
right? That's the crazy part about it. And I see that especially amongst
Wow.
our people,
Mhm.
right? The more we start to ascend and transcend beyond what's going on, right?
And then you go back to help,
You can't,
they kill
right?
you.
They try to kill you, right?
Oh my gosh.
Because you never think about it. You never think about it. Like I said to somebody the other day, I don't eat pork.
Hmm.
Why not? Is it religious? No, I just chose not to.
Yeah, it's a unhealthy meat.
It's
It clogs
unhealthy,
your arteries.
right? Not to say
Yeah.
anything about the pork industry. Shout out to the pork industry. Y'all do y'all thing,
Yeah, it's very fattening. If you
right?
consume a lot of pork, it clogs your arteries, and it essentially would shorten your lifespan because it's not a lean, healthy meat. I
Not to
get it.
mention it's a very unclean animal,
Yes.
right? So the same animal, you'll turn around and it'll eat its own feces. If you put a human being inside
Yes.
there, it'll eat the human being,
100%.
right?
That's how
That's
the criminals would get rid of bodies.
right, you know. But because of our culture, they'll say things to you like, "Well, the slaves ate pork. You better than the slaves?" You you looking like I had a friend one time, he responded back, "Do you really think I want the diet of a slave?"
That's what I'm saying. Like, all those dishes were created. The pork dishes were created out of necessity because
Out of
that's all that
necessity.
was available. But
Right.
time has evolved. You have access to, like, more vegetables. You have access to chicken and more fish. You're gonna eat the healthier, leaner meats.
Right. And because of that now, right, we've become accustomed to it. Now those things that were considered to be like, you take this because it's there, has now become a
Hmm.
delicacy. Right?
Isn't that wild? Isn't
It's
that
become a
wild?
oh my gosh, we're gonna have pork ribs. We're gonna have pork
Well,
chops.
but
Right?
even Kentucky Fried Chicken, that's where it
Yeah.
came from. It was the chicken scraps that the people preparing the food, the black cooks, they fried that chicken, and it would
Right.
tasted hella good.
Of course. Let's take this now and turn it into something special. Right?
Mhm.
Shout out to Black History Month. Uh,
Yes.
the
Yes, yes, shout out to Black, History Month, Willie O'Ree.
oh,
I'm wearing him on my chest. This is the first ever Black hockey player to play in the NHL ever. Like, that's
whoa,
serious. That's
that's what I'm
that's
talking
Willie
about.
O'Ree. First ever. Shout out to Black History Month.
Shout out to Black History Month, and that is your random Black History fact right there. Impromptu. We ain't even know it was coming. That's what I'm talking about. Willie O'Ree. Shout out to you.
Yeah.
All right.
He set the standard, and from that, like, well, hockey is a Black sport. A lot of people
Right.
don't know that. They think it's a white sport, but it was actually created by Africans. It was actually created it got huge notoriety in Nova Scotia. Like, so the Underground Railroad, there was 2 places in Canada where the slaves came. There was, um, Preston, North Preston, which is just across the Canadian border in Detroit, and also in Halifax. And in Halifax, the Black slaves created hockey and their own league, kinda like the Negro League, but it was
Right.
hockey. And Willie O'Ree played in those leagues, and he was so great, that he got scouted by the NHL, and he was the first Canadian Black hockey player, first
That's
Black hockey player ever signed in the NHL.
like he's a Jackie Robinson of hockey.
Yes, this is the Jackie Robinson of hockey for the
Huh.
people, Willie O'Ree, and he played for the Boston Bruins, but he was a Canadian kid.
That's what I'm talking about.
Yeah.
Oh, see, we gotta start sharing things like that now, man. Right?
It is February, it is Black
Yeah.
History Month. In all actuality, every day is Black History,
Every day is Black History. There's
but
no such thing.
we'll keep it to the quota.
We'll
February,
save we'll
we'll
save that for
drop
another
gems.
conversation.
Yeah.
But you see how you notice that? Like, could you imagine, right, him understanding what life was like outside of the cave, trying to go back inside there, tell everybody how different it was.
That concept that you just broke down is phenomenal because
Right.
I wasn't familiar with it. Now that I just learned about it, it's like, wow, it's true. Like, you always have people out of the group that trendset and make their way out and achieve something, and they come back to help their people, and the people they hate, they
Of
do whatever. We've seen it time and time again in
how many
so many
how
circumstances
many
in
times we've
in it.
seen that? Ah, I cut you off. I'm sorry about that.
No, 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 it's all good. We've seen it over and over and over
Ah,
again. Oh
I
my
you
gosh.
who was it? Like, I realize even now, people will talk about, you know, once you leave the hood, you can't go back like that,
You just
you
gotta
know?
keep moving forward.
But, our people, they're like, "I gotta show that I can go back. I gotta show that I could go back." Right? But it's like, no, show that you could take people like Neo in The Matrix, right?
Mhm.
The only reason he went back is to get people out,
100.
right? That's the only reason why you don't wanna be here? Let me show you there's another world,
But,
right?
speaking of that, you can't go back. Once you Nori said that, once you get out the hood, you gotta get out the hood to really make it.
Right,
And it's true. You gotta get out the hood to really make it, and you don't really wanna go back. You wanna just what I've learned from that is, like, get out, keep motivating, keep shining, keep doing your best, keep inspiring, so potentially they could follow, they could get out.
right. They
And if they can't get out, maybe their kids or maybe their cousin or maybe their uncle or maybe their sister, somebody be like, "Homeboy did it. Why don't
right.
I try it?"
The mentality has to be once you're done, right? You can't what's the word I'm looking for? Once you're done, your mentality is you can't go back and do the same thing you did from before.
Well, you gotta keep moving
Yeah.
forward. You
That's
you
the
don't
thing.
wanna I know one step forward, two step backwards, but you still gotta move
You
forward.
still gotta move forward. Even backwards is progress, right?
Mhm.
People forget that. Even a step backwards is still progress. You still make a movement, you
And
know?
as long as you learn your lesson, there's no
That's it.
there's no stagnant
Alright.
there's no
But
stagnancy.
but then it came down to it, and I started to realize, like, I remember one time I was at the same place, and I was arguing. actually, I had a I forgot what the argument was about, right? But this young kid was inside there, and he did not want to believe that the biggest business in the world was actually a business, right? I'm like, you do realize that it's documented, and he was upset about it, alright, to the point that he turned around. I'm giving him knowledge about it,
Yeah,
right? But he turns around and said, "Ah, you're a devil worshiper." Because
man,
I gave him knowledge on a situation that he wasn't paying attention to, right?
so crazy.
But because he thought he was right, he stood firm, and that's the thing. That was another thing that I always looked at. I'm like, we 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 don't really understand that there's a sense of ignorance and arrogance, right?
Yeah, like
Yeah.
it goes back. The more you know, the more you grow. But some people aren't willing to learn a bit more. They don't want to come out of the comfort zone. You know, we talked about that the other day. Like
Right.
they're stuck, they're complacent in this world. Like I got this over here, I got this over here. I'm good.
I'm okay.
But push it to the limit. Push it past the limit.
It but see, that's where it comes down to it. People, they don't wanna go beyond what they already know, right? And anything that is being uncomfortable. Challenging your own mentality is one of the hardest things for a human being to do,
It
right?
is because someone like Var, like you, someone like me, Mons, we're constantly pushing it to the limit.
Of
Like
course.
a, uh, the organization, the strategic planning, the amount of work that goes on behind the scenes to make this happen, so the viewer or a friend or someone could see this come up on their IG or come up on YouTube. The amount of work that we put in on a weekly basis to make this happen, it takes a lot. We push,
Right.
but we got to do it.
You know the
We
question that I
we got
always
to
have?
do it.
I always wondered, right? When did ignorance become confidence?
Too much ignorance. It's just
Right.
it's overflowing ignorance or broken telephone. Broken telephone over a series of years passed down through stories, wives' tales, and people believe the misconception instead of actually doing the research. And I actually heard Robert Kiyosaki said this one time.
Uh,
He says it all the time. Rich Dad Poor Dad dude.
yeah.
He always says, "We live in the era where it's the most easiest because we have the information at our fingertips. We could research the information." Like, I remember when I was a kid, we had to have encyclopedias or we had to
Oh
go
my
to the
gosh.
library and do the research. But now you type up on Google,
It's right
you
there.
know, with this AI, if you use AI for the positive and not worry about, oh, it's trying to take my job, it can help you. It's the greatest assistant. Look at Data. Look at on Star Trek. Data was the greatest assistant. Man, tell me I'm lying.
They had everything.
Data was the man. Data,
Oh,
what's next? I had to lick a
Captain
shot.
Captain Planet is inhabited by about 1.5 billion Zorbans. Right?
Data was the man. So now we all got data. You see what I'm saying?
That's
We all got data.
I might make a prompt to call it data now that I think about it. That's dope. Right?
You know what I'm
Right.
saying?
But see,
You get stuck. You just like, okay, how do I figure this out?
but
AI, Siri, what do I do next?
but
Alexa,
you
what's
pointed that
next?
out. See, what you did right there, you said something that was cool, that was like it was introspective. It said, instead of worrying about it taking your job, right, you should be using it to revolutionize your job, right?
Yes. Make
You
your
know,
job easier.
make your job easier and then create something else. Because that's the
Hmm.
one thing I'm starting to understand about this whole AI stuff, right? People are upset about people taking their jobs. No, it's taking the skills you don't have,
Yes.
right? You're refusing to grow, which now goes back to that allegory of the cave. Once you come back and say, hey man, the world is a little bit better if you understand this. No, no, I'm not doing that because this is what's happening, right?
That theory that you just presented in this episode is literally what's happening right now.
It's happening
AI
right now.
is it's the most relevant parallel to that
Right.
because you see AI, you see it's taking people's jobs, but if I look at it from a different perspective, this could propel me. This could make me millions of dollars. This could make my life easier. This could help me get more sleep. This could help me make more money. So it's your perspective.
It's bruh, look at it right now, right? Nobody's out there picking cotton.
Nope.
Anybody.
Well, there
N
is some
there's somebody
places,
there
there
there's some
is
places,
some
yeah.
places,
It's
small
not a
places
it's not a
where
it's not a it's
it's
not a normal job right now,
yes,
it's
it's
not a
not prevalent.
mainstream job,
It's not prevalent.
you know?
Yes, you are
You
correct. It's not prevalent.
but the things that we did back in the 1800s, right? Once they figured out, like, think about it, manufacturing factories,
Mhm.
right? Once they created the assembly line, people were worried about, oh my God, they're going to take the jobs of the workers. But then they realized they're producing more cars and you need people to maintain those
Exactly.
factories and you need to create this. So now all of a sudden, those 300 jobs of people who were making cars now turned into 4,000 jobs because you need people to maintain. The more you grow, the
Maintain the
more you
machines,
know.
yeah.
That's it. Right.
Exactly.
So now as AI starts to grow and it becomes a mainstream, of course, there's going to be things where it's like, we gotta figure out what's gonna happen next. Right now, it's the wild, wild west,
Mhm.
right? People
100%. And as we grow, there's gonna be protocols put in place, and don't get me wrong, I get it. I heard Elon Musk say some of the the concepts and some of the technology that he's creating, he had to shut them down because it's too
yeah,
rapid.
they
The
created life on
type
their
of
own.
yes, they're creating life
Yeah,
on their own. So if we control that, we're the
right,
gatekeeper for that. So as long as you keep that threshold to a certain point and not get too greedy and know when to pull the plug when necessary, it will be a tool, not a killer.
right. You know, it's such a place to be right now. Like you said it with Robert Kiyosaki. This is one of the craziest times to be alive, right?
Yes.
Because I've never seen people try to enslave themselves, if that makes sense.
No,
Right.
I get what you're saying. It's like you could use the what's available to your excelment,
Exactly.
or you could use it to your de-excelment,
Right.
de-acceleration. You could either move forward with it, you could help it propel you forward, or you could use that information or allow that information to bury you.
Right. You
It's your
know,
choice.
I think when it comes down to we've actually confused access to information right now with ownership of wisdom. So, you look up certain things. So if you say, okay, I saw this on the internet yesterday, and on the internet they were talking about, AI is gonna take over. I'm not gonna no, no, no. You don't have to be no, you know what? It's not gonna take over. Let's say it doesn't. Let's say it does. What happens then? Right? Are we back in iRobot or AI?
Well, I could see a scenario of I robot happening. The AI is so intelligent and it starts to create like emotion and feeling and this and that. I could see that scenario, and that I worked on that show.
I
That
was gonna
movie's
say
like over,
that.
over
I
like
was gonna say
that
that.
movie's over
Like,
20 years ago.
yeah,
I worked on that show with Will Smith out here in Vancouver in Canada,
right.
and it was an awesome project. And when you watch that show today, it's kinda like The Matrix. We always use
Yeah,
it as a reference. iRobot is that AI reference. It
right.
it could it could actually turn things bad, but essentially you just gotta pull the plug. If it turns bad, pull the plug.
You know what I realized though is that the one thing people aren't catching on to, we're not we're not attacking problems. We're attacking solutions,
Hmm.
right? People don't get that. Like, when I look at things, my perspective on a lot of things in the world, if you are if you are sick, right, and you have cancer, cancer is
Mhm.
the solution. Right, it's not the problem, it's the solution. This is what you manifested through your lifestyle and the things that you were doing and
Yes.
everything else like that. When you start to
Mhm.
when you start to have these body breakdowns from stress, you're not attacking this the problem isn't the breakdown, that's the solution, right? That's the
Wow.
solution, right? When you look at everything in the government right now, right? We're not gonna go on politics, but Donald Trump is the solution to everyone else's problem, right? This is the solution to all the frustration and anger and the the misunderstandings that was created during the previous administration, right?
It's true.
You
It's
know,
true, and if you look at it from that perspective, if you didn't have a person like the current president,
right?
how would you know how to reevaluate?
You
You would
can't.
just you would just keep trucking along in the
That's the
same old system.
and I
So,
think that's what it
essentially,
is.
he is shaking up the system,
Yes.
woken up everything, woken up the whole world. Now, how are we gonna approach it?
How do you
What are
get
we gonna do
because
now?
now you're dealing with now the problem has changed, right?
Mhm.
What do you do now, right? Because
Mhm.
now it's more introspective. Every problem that we deal with in this world is a reflection of who we are,
It's true.
right? And that's what people don't wanna understand. It's like you're upset about this thing that's taking place. You're upset about AI. Great. Why are you upset about AI? It's taking our jobs. Well, maybe if you did your job right the first time, somebody wouldn't be trying to find a solution,
That
right?
idea wouldn't even have came about
Right? It wouldn't
to
even
fix
like
that solution.
you know the one thing everybody's saying right now, right? AI is creating these movies that the people creating with AI, they're putting like movies companies out of business. You mean the same ones that were stopping people from making movies to begin with?
Yeah, it's true.
Right?
Because these new, technology companies that came about, they have actually put out of business the original movie houses.
Right.
Now the technology companies are the ones that make movies. It's the Apples, it's the Amazon, it's the Netflix.
Yes.
Those are, IP companies. They're not
Right.
movie houses. But then
You
the
know?
traditional movie houses like the Warner Brothers and the NBCs and the ABCs, all their stuff is kinda going obsolete because the
Right.
technology is taking over, so they're merging or they're selling to each other or they're making joint ventures to go forward. It's true. We're at a crazy turning point
It's a
in
crazy time.
human history.
It's a crazy time, man. And as long as we keep on moving, the perspective, if we can understand the perspective of we're trying to solve people are trying to solve problems by attacking the solution, right? The fact of the
It's
matter is
true.
if you're looking at the solution, you're not gonna solve the what you have to do is look back and say to yourself, "Okay, you know what? The reason why we got here is this. The reason why this
Now
happened is because of this." You
now
know?
how are we gonna approach it now? How are we gonna
E
fix this now? What are
exactly.
we gonna do so this doesn't reoccur again?
And that's where the mindset has to come in for a lot of people. It's like, "Okay, I understand the world is coming out of this way, but what am I doing to change myself?" Because again, as we see things going forward, everything is nothing more than a reflection of who we already are.
And that it's a very valid point you have because it's been a known fact that the narrative was the revolution will not be televised.
Right,
So what are the people gonna do? Because essentially the people are the ones that put people in power.
right.
So why don't the people put themselves in power for real
Because the
this time?
and I'll be real with you. I can tell you exactly why. It's because they don't believe in it. People have been giving away their own power for years,
Mhm.
eons, centuries, right? You it's who said it? I think Maya they said Maya Angelou said it? Our
What
fear
was
is
her,
not the fear is not that we are inadequate, right? It's that our fear is that we're actually more powerful than beyond our own measure,
you're
right?
scared of yourself, essentially.
Exactly. That's basically what it is. You're afraid of yourself, right? So you're in a space now that you could do anything, but you create rules going forward, right? I think a long time ago, I had this this perspective of something, right?
Mhm,
And I said to myself, okay, everyone is going to this place over here to do this thing led by one person. Okay, that's there. Put a pin there. This person listens to this music over here and they get amped up by this person. Everyone who likes that person will go to this place over here and cherish and do the same exact thing that these people are doing over here.
mhm.
But they'll come together and hate each other because they're not doing it the way that they want to. All right. One person is preaching freedom of the mind, the other person say, no, you have to follow me.
Mhm.
Right. But it becomes a problem because this group says, you know what, no, you can't do anything without this. And this group over here says, no, we can do this, but we're all fans of this person. We're gonna follow that person. And it
So
becomes
essentially, it's like a mass confusion.
it's a complete mass confusion. And I'm only using the examples like this because I don't want to get too far into it. Right?
Yeah, no, no, no. It's a crazy rabbit hole,
you know,
and we did it. We opened the can of worms, and it's good. It's we got to create these conversations. We
oh
got
yeah,
to poke the bear per se.
you know,
Otherwise,
shout out to Dylan
and
Brooks.
these I love Dylan Brooks. He's the homie. But but the thing is, if we don't open these can of worms, if we don't push the envelope, we won't inspire that next generation to actually be that or to lead that. Tupac said that the next person that he inspires will be unstoppable.
Right,
You know, so that's why he pushed the envelope. So maybe by us creating these tantalizing conversations, putting it out there, letting people know it's okay to be yourself and to think freely and think outside the box and live outside the box, it could spark the mind that actually creates the real good new world that we're looking for, or
right.
this harmony, or this peace, or this,
It's
you
gonna take a
know.
while. Yeah, it's gonna take a while to get through because the thing about it for us is that I believe that we have to get past the fear of the judgment. You know,
Yeah,
I think we have to get. You know what? I'll rephrase that. I think we have to get past a fear and judgment, not fear of judgment, fear and
fear
judgment.
and judgment. That's
Right?
word.
Because that's the thing. It's like we're so quick to judge things that we don't understand without actually acknowledging. Hey, look, man. Maybe the fact that I don't like this is because I'm afraid of it.
Mhm.
Right.
Or why
Remember,
am I afraid of this? Yeah.
exact there was a line in Cool Runnings, right? Right, where, I forgot who it is. I don't know if it was Yul Brynner or,
Malik
what's my guy's
Yoba.
name?
There was Hugh
No,
Benner, Malik Yoba, the
right?
other two character. Oh, there was it not
Junior.
wasn't Flexed
It was Junior who said it,
or Dougie Doug?
right?
Was it Dougie Doug? I
Dougie
don't
Doug.
know the character.
Dougie Doug,
Yes.
right?
Yeah.
And I think Leon, if I'm not mistaken. Was it Leon?
Yes. I
Right?
think so.
Right? Oh, no, we all look alike. So, you know,
Man,
but Junior said, he's like, why are they looking? They said, why are they looking at us? Junior said, we're different. Everyone's afraid of something that's different, right?
that's word.
And I remember using that line on somebody when I was in my room one day and I put pineapples on a pizza, right? And
Mhm.
they're like, ugh, how you put pineapples on a pizza, right? And I looked at them, I said, you're mad because it's different, and everyone's afraid of something different.
By the way, people, I love pineapple on pizza,
Same
and
here.
I know there's millions of you out there that love pineapple on pizza.
You know what I'm saying? Shout out to my
Don't let them
pineapple
hold
pizza
you
lovers.
back.
That's
Yes,
it.
don't let them hold you back.
You know that's if you hear this episode, hashtag any pizza company out there, let's get Shaq to talk about it.
Yeah, Papa John's, get
Yep,
get the pineapple pizza.
that's it. Big pineapple, big fella. You know, but it's people are afraid of things that are different. You know, a lot of fear comes from things that they don't know, which is the reason why the world is the way it is right now.
It's
Right?
true.
I watch people right now talking about uh, we're not gonna go that way. Yeah,
6,
you know,
7.
it's 6, 7.
I don't know if I should do it. It's
Because
true.
because it's real, right? You watch it, you deal with it, right? We've dealt with it throughout our whole entire life where it's like, you know, I don't understand who you are, so I'm gonna judge you, right?
100%. It's
I
still
don't
to this
understand
day.
to this day.
Well,
To
if you
this
look
day.
at society, today, we are actually living the same life as before the Emancipation Proclamation.
Oh, yeah.
That was like at least 100 years ago. We're still living the same life.
Man, the what was it? I forgot who said it. It was a book that we were reading the other day called The Forthcoming,
Mhm.
right? And in The Forthcoming, that book said it was like there's generations of these things. This is nothing more than a time,
Mhm.
right? I think Tony Robbins said it when I was watching this Tony Robbins conference. He's like John Adams and Thomas Jefferson were going back and forth, right, during political campaigns. John Adams says, you know, Thomas Jefferson, if you want Thomas Jefferson as president, prepare to have your women raped and your this and that. Right?
Wow.
And then
Slander.
Thomas Jefferson was like, "Yo, if you want a man who brings women from across seas and has prostitutes from Europe come to him, then yes, this would be your president." And I'm looking, I'm like,
It's the same story.
same story.
It's the
It's the
same
same
story.
story. Nothing has changed.
Nah,
You
not at
know, so
all.
so we spend more time getting frustrated about things that's like this is just a moment in time, man.
It's true.
Right?
And they say like this moment in time, it's just a speck. It's just a
That's it.
little
That's it.
smidget.
I think
Yeah.
I think I think Bill Clinton said it one day. I think he was on Conan O'Brien and he was there
Mhm.
talking about the so I guess an astronaut from NASA came to the office and he had a rock that was from the moon, an actual moon rock,
Mhm.
right? And he said, "How old is that rock?" He said, "About 1.2 billion years old." And he stopped.
Wow.
He said, everything he said after that didn't matter anymore.
After he
Right.
gave the date of
After
the rock. Yeah, the
Yeah.
age of the rock.
Alright, so he said, "Can I borrow that?" He said, "Well, Mr. President, I can't really just" "No, no, no. Imma give it back, I promise. I just wanna know if I could borrow it." Right? And he kept it in the Oval Office. And every time they would have arguments, right, with people from all over the world, he would stop the argument and said, "Hey, guys, that rock right there
Mhm.
is 1.2 billion years old." Right?
Exactly.
And he stopped and they stopped and like, "Okay, so what? What does that mean?" He said, "We're just passing through, man."
Exactly. I
Right?
remember that story. That's a classic story, and it's
You know,
true.
we're just
It's
passing
true when
through.
you look at it in the grand scheme of things, when you look at the big picture,
You know,
make the best of the moment that you have.
that's it, man. That's it. That's it. Right. So it takes that to understand. Like I said, once you're at a point of realizing you were in the cave and you're making your way out, sometimes going back in the cave is not the best thing, but you do have to create the avenue for those who want to escape.
Yeah. So
You know,
essentially, maybe light a fire at the door of the
There it is.
cage, and maybe someone will walk towards that light
You know,
instead
somebody
of
has
going
to,
all the way back. Yeah.
yeah, because you're gonna be at a point where it's like, I need to figure out how to get out of this place.
Mhm.
Right? Some people are gonna say to you, "Hey, what are you trying to leave? This is the best life we've ever had." Some people are gonna say, "Yeah, we all trying to leave." And then there's gonna be a person in there that's gonna be like, "Hey, you know what? The guard goes to sleep at 5 o'clock, and he always puts his keys down on the side."
Exactly. And it's like that age-old tale, like, they thought the world was flat,
Right.
but
You
not
know?
not to that one voyage went out and and they attempted to sail across the whole earth that they
Right.
realized the world is a sphere
It's a
and the
sphere.
oceans connect. It's not flat.
Because if you go across it, he said at some point in time you would have fallen off. But again, here we are, these flat earth theorists, you know, and I feel like there's more power going to things that are just meant to confuse you.
Yeah, I do see that. I do see
Right.
that. It's like, beauty's in the eye of the beholder,
Right.
and there's no reward without risk.
No,
So it's a plethora of things, but it essentially it's the individual that takes the chance.
of course.
The one that falls down, the one that makes the mistake, the one that gets up the 10th time, the 20th time, the one that gets laughed at, beat up, but still gets up and still keeps trucking. That's the person that succeeds. That's
Yeah.
the person that actually triumphs. The person that stays cooped up, in the safe space, they don't get
Right.
nothing.
It's strange because now I'm like, I actually think about it, and we have all this technology that's here. Robert Kiyosaki even said, he pointed it out, that this is a time
Mhm.
that we have. I wonder if all of this actually created more boundaries for us, though.
Yeah, because it's perspective
Right.
and it's it's your perspective because it might have created more boundaries, but it might have opened more doors, you know?
But and I get that, but think about it, right? Remember what I told you when we talked about last week? We said, I would figure out how to stop you by giving you everything that you wanted.
Yeah,
You know?
because once you have everything that you wanted, you're
Right.
not gonna push
Right.
further anymore. You
And
stop.
you watch it, when a person is struggling to get somewhere, they're validated by what they can accomplish, right? But if you give them unlimited access to everything, they don't know what to do with it. They find things to complain about.
Yeah, and they become complacent.
That's it. Wow, and that just clicked in just now, right? So people will sit here and complain about how bad their life is if they have more things to help them to where they're trying to go, versus
If
if
they
you
have
have
less,
limitations,
they'll
if you have
figure it
less,
out.
you'll figure it
They'll
out,
figure it out. Yeah.
right?
Wow.
You know?
And it's funny how you bring that up. Um, so there was this multimillionaire dude. He had a cabin on a lake. Um, I know him through family or friends so in a lake, he had a cabin and he was rich. He had his own plane. Him and his wife didn't want for nothing. He had everything. He's this multi-millionaire. And I think once a year he would fly his plane, or no, he wouldn't fly his plane. He would drive to this cabin, and the cabin has no power, had no light, had no electricity, had no running water, and they would
Mhm.
had no heat, nothing. And they would stay in this house, him and his wife, to become grounded. And they would do
Huh.
that once a year to keep themselves grounded. And
Huh.
he's still affluent because
Right.
he did that one
Because
thing every year to keep him grounded.
Well, they said that. They said once you get to a certain financial level, sometimes it's like it takes a lot to stimulate you now,
Yeah, to keep
you
going.
know, because it's like now you look for bigger challenges, right?
Yeah,
Which
it's
is why
like, that book, it's a classic title, The Monk That Sold His Ferrari.
I feel like I've heard that one, but I know the story.
Yeah,
You know,
yeah, it's like same concept, like the monk that sold his Ferrari.
right?
Wow.
You know, and that's the understanding because I you realize it. People try to find thrill in something, and our biggest thing right now is finding a way to become rich, right?
But will rich really solve all the problems?
No, because you had those problems before you got rich,
Yeah.
right? Yeah,
Like,
you're not. It's not that you're not working towards becoming better, right? I just don't think rich is the goal. I think I
no,
think I think to do better things, yes,
is a
right?
better look. Because, like how I personally view money, obviously I want a good substantial amount of money, but
Right,
essentially just to for housing, for food, for experiences, for security, the basics. But
right,
essentially, once you have those things, because I'm a creative, because you're a
right.
creative, you'll keep creating. You'll keep,
You're gonna create
like
creating.
running tests and trying different hypotheses and this and that. Like once you have that comfort, that those things, those necessities taken care of, because you're a creator, you'll keep creating. The
Right.
type of individual you are, the type of individual I am, I will keep creating, but there's people that once they get that money, they would probably lose it because
They're gonna oh, yeah.
they don't have the drive to keep,
Hold on,
you know,
that's the wife calling. Hold on one second.
alright?
Yo. Yes,
Speaking of that, do we wanna come to a close on this?
we can.
It's all we've been going crazy, like, this conversation has been wild. You know what I mean? I'm like, "Man, these kids is deep."
We thinking about things, man, putting it all together, man. Put it all
Yeah,
together,
man.
get it out of here,
I'm
man.
loving it. I'm loving
So,
the progress. I'm loving the consistency and the discipline and the strategy, and it's good. Feeling the
we should we
vibe,
should
definitely.
we should stop and we don't even say bye. Like, just like they said that before, right? They said, "Look," they said, "Don't even tell anybody when you're gonna end it, just end it." Right? Because if they know you're gonna end it, they're gonna click off before you finish.
Yeah,
All right,
it's
but you just
true.
cut it off, you know, okay, we'll cut it off right now. So, so
Barsky and Mud.